Let's welcome in now Dr. Sheila Nazarian. She's an Iranian American. She's also a board-certified plastic surgeon. And it's great to have you with us, as always, Dr. Sheila.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me back.
So I want to talk about what's actually happening inside Iran. Not a lot of news is getting out, but we are hearing about a resurgence of the government crackdown. There are reports that security forces are rounding up dissidents. They are seizing phones. They are fast-tracking trials. There's also reports of executions tied to recent protests. We've talked a lot here on the show about Saleh Mohammadi, who is the 19-year-old wrestler who was executed. For example, talk to us about what you're hearing.
You know, I'm hearing the same things that you're hearing. I saw people back out in the streets, and, you know, it breaks my heart to hear President Trump say, you know, we've achieved our goals and we're coming to an end of this war. What does that mean for the people on the ground? Does that mean morality police is still going to kick women in the head who aren't wearing a hijab? Does it mean that the public executions continue? Have the Iranian people achieve freedom? That's my number one concern. Number two concern is if we don't remove this regime, John, we are leaving a lying, fully stockpiled Iran, regardless of what they promise or what they say. We are leaving that to our children and grandchildren to deal with. So I have faith in President Trump. I have to be honest. I think that the verbiage coming out of his mouth right now is to calm the markets. You know, he wouldn't be saying we're near peace and then sending 5,000, 2,500 more Marines into the area. So I think, you know, what he's saying is more to calm the markets, but I think this war is far from over. And until there is regime change, you can never trust this government. You can never, they lie. All they do is lie. All they do is propagandize. And so we really have to, we didn't come this far, John, to leave this regime in place.
What is missing? I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out yet, but, you know, this 15-point peace proposal, we kind of ran through some of it. But what is missing right now that matters the most to the Iranians inside the country that needs to be in this peace plan?
Regime change. You know, having the top tier, second tier, third tier of literal terrorists be killed, but then replace them with the fourth tier terrorists is not good enough. This is not freedom for the Iranian people. This is just, again, in the same thread of all previous presidents, John. It's kicking the can down the road. Yeah, we might have kicked the can down the road further than other presidents. But if we don't get rid of this regime, John, it is something that's going to come back to bite us. It's like a cancer. You got to eradicate it. Otherwise, it's just going to regroup and regrow, and you're going to have to deal with it later.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of hope initially that Iran would go through what Venezuela went through in some way, shape, or form, a swift removal of the head of the snake. But we've seen even in Venezuela, with Delcy Rodriguez still being in power there. And I know how much it pains Venezuelans in this country, in the United States, to hear President Trump say nice things about Delcy Rodriguez. I can imagine it's just as difficult for you and many people in the Iranian diaspora to hear similar things about the prospect of elements of the regime remaining in power.
It's not even, it's worse. And I'll tell you why. You know, Delcy Rodriguez, the Venezuelan government, wants the normal things dictators want, power and money. Fine. And the regime, the terrorists, the IRGC leading Iran right now, they don't just want money and power. Yeah, they want that too, but they want a caliphate. They want to torture their own people and kill their own people publicly. They're not ashamed of it. So it's an Islamist twist that you don't have in Venezuela. Venezuela, if you give them power and money, they'll be your puppet. Fine. Here, they'll be your puppet for a while. They'll lie to you. You'll think they're not enriching uranium. They will be, just like they have in the past. And they will continue to perform these human rights violations of the people in Iran, and they will continue to be a threat. It's not apples to apples.
Yeah, we have the situation now where you have Saudi Arabia. The report yesterday that I read was Mohammed bin Salman pressuring President Trump to stay in the fight. You have also Israel that wants to keep this going on to remove the regime. We'll see where it goes. You mentioned the troops headed over being deployed to the Middle East. That lines up with the end of this 5-day deadline that President Trump is talking about. Also wanted to ask your opinion on this because we had this Iranian military spokesperson. We played the clip of him calling out Donald Trump, saying he's fired, but many people are wondering if this guy is even real, just like the Ayatollah, who we still haven't seen yet. Is this AI? What's going on here?
It very well could be AI. You know, Iran is a master propagandist. But at the same time, like, who is in charge? And, you know, within the IRGC, John, if you say, oh, yeah, I'm negotiating with America, your colleagues will kill you. So, you know, I just don't understand how these negotiations could be real unless it's a Yasser Arafat type of situation and it's Takia, you know, and he's like, I'm going to lie for now. I'm going to say I'm negotiating with them to propagate Islam later on. And that's the only way somebody from within this regime can say openly, I'm negotiating with the U.S. and not be killed by the other people in the regime. Yeah,
that's, you know, you open up any part of your political philosophy to working with the West, you become a target inside the regime. That's one of the issues here. Dr. Sheila Nazarian, thank you so much. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much.